Well, to talk a bit more about the attack and the political reaction to it as well, I'm very pleased to be joined by Yan St-Pierre. He joins me live from Berlin, and he's a terrorist and political violence analyst based there. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, is the French Interior Minister correct when he says this isn't a failure of intelligence, but a psychiatric failing?
In many ways, yes, because it's not about gating the information in advance. I think the fact that they were monitoring the suspect, the alleged attacker, is already a sign that the intel was working. But once information is there, the processing of the information, transferring it to the right people and making sure that the measures are duly applied, that's another step. So is it an intelligence failure? No, but there are definitely measures along the lines how that was implemented that will raise questions, whether it's psychiatric, whether it's operational. There's definitely a few questions surrounding this case right now.
And he does appear to be a sort of rather unusual individual. He was the attacker, that is. He converted to Islam as an adult. He did have some links to terror groups. What do we know about those links and about his possible motives here?
Well, the biggest clue right now is definitely the video that he posted on Saturday just before committing the attacks, but also his social media history. And of course, then the broader history, being arrested and condemned and spending time in jail between 2016 and 2020. But the motivations, I think, fall very much within what we've seen with the Islamic State so far. It's a very broad discourse. It's about defending Muslims. It's about exacting revenge. It's a very defensive discourse in this sense. So there's nothing peculiar that really sticks out compared to previous attacks. But in this case, the fact that he was part of a de-radicalization program, the fact that he said, well, he wasn't radicalized, he's radicalized again. The fact that there are changes in his behavior make this a very peculiar case. Is he, did he commit those attacks again after being monitored? That makes it not a unique case, but one that's we rarely see. Nonetheless, it underlines just how difficult de-radicalization programs can be.
Indeed. You mentioned the Islamic State group there, but it is worth reiterating this was a lone wolf attacker, wasn't it?
Yeah, I prefer the term single perpetrator, because what we've seen over the last few years is, yes, they act out alone, but they always reach out. There's always a certain degree of networking, especially on the digital front, where these people become inspired. But yes, they decide to act on their own. Sometimes they can get support in terms of gaining weapons. But yes, in this case, it looks like someone who decided to act out on his fantasies, on his desires, and on the other hand, we're dealing with someone that does have links to a broader network in the past. So will the ensuing investigation show that he didn't act alone, or that he acted alone but with a certain degree of support? That remains to be seen. But yes, it does appear as if he acted alone, but not necessarily doing everything on his own.
And we know that in October this year, France raised its security alert to its highest level. In practice, what does that mean?
Well, after 2015, with the state of exception, France basically gave basically a carte blanche to its security personnel to be able to protect key areas, to conduct preventive arrests, preventive searches, preemptive actions overall. And this law was actually made into normal law a few years back. So increasing the vigilance in this case, which was already the case following the terror attack in Israel on October 7th, is that specific areas will now receive increased personnel, security personnel, to ensure that they're safe. It means that the monitoring of certain of fichier S or possible attackers will be increased as well. So now it's more about updating what's currently present and making sure that the resources are there.
And just finally then, do you think that there are some security concerns as France looks ahead to the Olympics next year?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that it's a major event. France, unfortunately, over the last 10 years has shown that it's extremely vulnerable to terrorist attacks, despite implementing all of those measures. And in July of next year, with the world watching what's going on in Paris, that will definitely be a major concern. But that also concerns the European Championship of football, of soccer in Germany as well, a neighboring state with France. So security challenges with regards to terrorism next summer will be very high.
Yan St-Pierre, it's good to talk to you, sir. Thanks very much for your analysis.
Thank you.